3 ways to gather actionable data to improve marketing impact. Collecting the right data for your lead management program is a big deal. Bad data can skyrocket the cost of CRM implementation and bring your entire marketing program to a screeching halt. When B2B marketers collect lead management data, they typically use forms to ask specific qualifying questions, which is how they then screen prospects and segment campaigns for relevancy to the target audience. But prospects sometimes input false or misleading information, and this can have a huge effect on how and if they get funneled through the sales pipeline. Unfortunately, many B2B marketers tend to put too much stock in collecting demographic and firmographic information, also known as explicit data. It's certainly an effective way to collect characteristic information about prospects such as their name, job title, email address, company name, company size, etc. And it can tell marketers if large companies in the southern United States have more of an affinity for their product than mid-size companies in the western United States. However, the data can easily be falsified, and it doesn't take into account a prospect's behavior. By incorporating 3 simple methods to streamline the data collection process, marketers can guarantee the information they gather will be actionable and improve their impact. Point 1. Don't ask for too much information too soon. Because the sales cycle for most B2B companies tends to be months or even years, the data collection process doesn't have to be quick. A huge mistake marketers make is trying to gather actionable data in the early stages of a campaign versus depending on the data in their lead management solution and the product's quality to command the appropriate information in due time. When your forms or landing pages attempt to capture too much information in one setting, many of your prospects can and will call it quits or simply enter bogus data. Asking someone for their company's financial data doesn't make much sense if you haven't yet gathered who you are communicating with. Depending on the size of the company, the prospect could easily be an intern or a CEO. But regardless of the prospect's position, you don't want them to disengage because your form is long and asks questions irrelevant to them. You only want to ask for the absolute must-haves the first time you're gathering data. As it relates to lead conversion, more questions on a form does not increase conversion rate. In fact, too many questions will likely lead to an increase in bogus data and lower the lead conversion rate. 2 questions you should ask before you begin: what type of data is absolutely necessary to begin the nurturing process? What is the right balance between lead quality versus quantity? According to industry studies, the percentage of inquiries/responses that are immediate leads is usually well below 10% according to the Sales and Marketing Institute. Yet, in 18 to 24 months, studies have shown that between 20% and 40% of all inquiries will buy your product or service. Point 2. Include implicit, behavioral data as a necessary complement to explicit data. All good campaigns will include explicit data, but the unreliability of the information necessitates supplementing and enhancing it. What about the prospect's values, actions, attitudes, and interests? An effective campaign must capture a prospect's behavior, also known as implicit data. Website visits, white paper downloads, email opens, and clicks are examples of implicit data that tells you what your prospects are doing and helps you market to them with action. In sync, explicit and implicit data provide a more accurate picture of prospects. And you can better accommodate prospects when you know who they are and what they want based on a combination of provided and observed behavior. Point 3. Collect recency and frequency data. The first behavioral component is the action itself. But beyond that, you must also account for the recency and frequency of the behavior, how often and how recently a person took an action. This is a critical component of a successful lead management solution. Any good sales rep knows that the quality of a lead changes both over time and as more or less interaction with the prospect occurs. For instance, consider the difference between a prospect who downloads a white paper today and another who downloaded it 6 months ago. The behavior is the same, but the person who most recently downloaded the white paper may be in a more active research phase of the buying cycle. In another example, a prospect who visited your website 10 times this month is clearly more engaged than someone who has visited just once the previous month. Knowing this information can help sales better engage with hot leads and marketing more effectively nurture cold leads. Data changes for a number of reasons. People leave companies, get promoted, change focus or goals, companies get bigger, etc. And a major reason marketing automation-based programs don't deliver to their potential is poor data quality. To make your data actionable, you must gather explicit and implicit data and measure the recency and frequency of your prospects' behaviors. And by gathering data over time, you'll capture more accurate information from prospects that you can use to more effectively nurture them through the buying cycle.